So this is a very good time to discuss about how we should really develop skills in a large number of people in all over the world, because the world has too many more people than what they can be employed globally. Just imagine the human population has multiplied exponentially over a period of time, but not necessarily the job creation ability of the world has kept pace with it. And when we talk about jobs, the jobs have certain connotation. If you are employed and there's a relationship between an employer and employee that subsists, and there is some kind of a fixed tenure contract between them, it is called jobs. But that kind of jobs have changed all over the world. And particularly when we are on the threshold of the fourth industrial revolution, we'll find the jobs, the nature of it is going to undergo sea change. Again, there is a new dimension. Most of the developing countries, which incidentally are going to be the countries where the need for creating job opportunities is more, are the countries where more people are employed, so-called employed, maybe a disguised employment in agriculture. And the ability of agriculture to provide more jobs is diminishing. In fact, there may be more jobs on farm than what the farm can actually afford to sustain. And therefore, industry is going to not necessarily add more jobs. Agriculture globally have more people working on the farm than what is really required. The service sector, again, with the opportunities, but of a different kinds. So I'll put together industry, agriculture, services can absorb people into their various economic activities, provided we have a matrix, which is on one hand is people, on the other hand opportunities. One hand, the kind of people that would fit in the bill and the requirement of the emerging job opportunities in the world. So to match this matrix, we need something called invisible relationship, which is called skills. If you can convert a person, a human capital, into value addition by giving them certain skills, knowledge, training, which then they can deploy that into emerging opportunity that will be there in the world, will have almost a possibility of making each and every person in the planet gainfully employed. And that nature of employment obviously will be different than the earlier fixed time job kind of a relationship. And the skills, therefore, are going to be extremely important for the people to be gainfully employed. And most of them will have the kind of new opportunities that will emerge. And this was true even pre-COVID world. I'm deliberately saying pre-COVID and post-COVID world because they will be like virtually like prehistorical and current historical world of the, as we normally make a distinction between the two periods. It was so true even during the corona and the COVID hit us. But today, because of post-corona world, it's going to be so different than the pre-corona world. There is changing profile of work itself. Because most of the work people were carrying out, we have to go to the workplace. That may not be necessary anymore. People can carry out that work from home. So because you're carrying out work from home, a new kind of economy, a new kind of work culture is going to emerge. And that new work culture needs different kind of training. And therefore, we can definitely ensure that we train people, give them skills so they can fit in the bill in terms of work culture emerging, new work culture changing, and in off workplace working. These are new opportunities. Then the kind of work that you're doing itself is going to undergo change. Just imagine that we can carry out certain healthcare related activities from faraway places. So doctor may be sitting in some place and the patient may be thousands of kilometers away. But this was always a possibility, which you call telemedicine. But between the doctor and the patient, to link both of them, a technology needed, which is possible today with the kind of dialogue that we are having with each other. But then there will be so many people working behind the scene who can make this contact between patient and doctor a worthwhile experience. And those are the people who will also be not medical doctors or the patients, but they will be providing the link. And those are the people who could also be requiring some special skills to make it happen. So they will be there as new opportunities. So in India, with 17% of the global population, maybe 16.8, we have a great opportunity to be part of this new world, in which even sitting in our own home, we can make ourselves gainfully employed. We may not have a fixed job contract, but still we can be earning more than what the so-called fixed term contract was offering. But it's not going to happen naturally, normally, without doing anything. We have to learn something. What is that we learn is firstly going to change from time to time. There cannot be only one time learning that will make you fully employed, but probably a lifelong learning, which would mean that we need to acquire skills for the time being, which are has a demand now right now in the market. But those demand may change from time to time because so many people will be jumping into that opportunity. So therefore, a different kind of skill imparting ability also has to be developed in the country. That those who impart skills will also have to be agile to the changes that are happening. They will have to be versatile, they will have to be dynamic, and they will have to be also aware of the fact that you are training a person who's already been trained for something else. So he has to learn to learn more. And this kind of new challenges which we are going to face in the society will have to be addressed in terms of this. In India, skill development ability has to be developed institutionally. And when you impart those skills, how to impart a skill also is going to change. So just imagine. While, as I said, in real life situation, the doctor and patient meet, but how they meet itself has a possibility, therefore there's an opportunity. But that opportunity for somebody to make those contacts possible is happening off-site. I mean, something which is happening virtually. But you yourself have to be trained to do that. That training itself might happen virtually. So in future, training programs may happen virtually. Therefore, we'll have to create a virtual world in which everything will happen virtually. This is going to be a very interesting world that is emerging. In India, we'll have to be ready to offer training at different levels. In India, I will share my personal experience with you. We have an institution called Manav Sadhan Vikas Samstha, an NGO, purely NGO, not for profit, in which through Jana Shikshan Samsthan that we started more than 25 years ago, supported by, that time it was recognized by the union government. It's recognized even today, but that was the first Jana Shikshan Samsthan to be set up in rural area. Because as member of parliament, I said, why not rural area? Because my constituency was rural. And my wife, as the chairperson of Manav Sadan Vikas Samstha, who is incidentally a journalist, and she gives her professional time away and works for it free of cost completely to train more than 100,000 people by now in rural areas. And many of them have become self-employed in rural areas, in Konkan. We could not have imagined ever. They were thinking probably they had to find a job coming to Mumbai. That's how most of the people from that area were gainfully employed. Or they had to work in agriculture with their old ancestral property. But today they are gainfully employed in many sectors. We offer courses in maybe 70, 80 different kinds of programs. I think we'll have to do that more in years to come. Then there's other opportunity that industry itself is going to need people, but they have to be trained. Unfortunately, our education institutions do not necessarily create people ready to take up jobs in the shop floor. They train them, give them degrees, but not necessarily ability to work on shop floor. To do that, we'll have to train people, retain people, and that's another opportunity. Therefore, we are tied up with Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, so that industry and the institutions will have an organic relationship. But that will have to be more. So our entire education program will have to be completely geared up to offer employment-oriented, skill-based training for our population. Nobody need to go from BA, become BA first, BCom first, or BSc first, and take up job later on. Why not we create a new stream of education which offers completely skill-based program? We'll have to have universities which will recognize such skill-based program. More, we have some, but we need more. And so entire education system will have to be geared up to provide skill-based training. Another opportunity from Indian perspective, we can train people in India for rest of the world. Today, the same, sharing my personal experience, Manav Sadan Vikas Samstha, we run a nursing college. Many of the nurses are employed, not many, all of them are employed in Mumbai. Those are nursing institutes in Konkan. And all of them are employed. But tomorrow we have to train people, give them language so that they can be offering their services to global community. Korea, Japan are aging. They would need care for an aging population. We can train people for doing that. But they will have to be given even language training like Japanese or Korean so that they can offer this program there. This is another opportunity. Then some of this skill-based training and the skilled workers can become entrepreneurs themselves. That is another area. So we again, sharing my personal experience, we run an enterprise development institute in Mumbai, which wife has started. So that skilled personnel need not just look at another opportunity so that they can go in shop floor for somebody else or work for some overseas market. They can become entrepreneurs. And this has happened in many cases. I can have a documented program that we have done. But I personally feel this is yet another opportunity. We must explore that because if you become entrepreneur, as Prime Minister Modi always says, rather than job seeker, you become job creator. That is another big opportunity that exists for India and Indians. Shifting people away from agriculture, those who don't want to get fully employed, and making them, provide them skill-based training so that they can be absorbed in services or in manufacturing as provider of services or entrepreneurs or becoming part of a global supply chain. That's another opportunity. So I think there are multifaceted, multi-dimensional, constantly changing opportunities that are emerging in the skills world. We can ensure in India that we'll become the skill providers to the world. We have seen countries emerging as the workshop of the world, or we becoming service provider of the world, but now we can emerge as the skill providers to the whole world community. And to do that, Let us focus on skills as a preoccupation for the entire India. Change the education system, create new training institutions, make training and skill based as a very pleasurable exercise. So bring new ideas into skilling, offer online skilling programs, offer all time skilling programs so that people can keep acquiring multi skills as they go along in different stages of their life. Offer ideas into skilling itself, offer skilling, and you are making skilled people, but making skilling itself as an enterprise. When you provide that skilling knowledge, expertise, you can become an entrepreneur in doing that as well. So there are many, many facets to this area. I'm very happy that you organize this program. I congratulate the organizer for bringing together the entire ecosystem of skilling so that we each can learn from each other, can benefit from each other. It's a mutual benefit. The person who is getting skilled is beneficiary. One who is offering skill is also getting an opportunity to be employed in that process of offering this as a knowledge. And of course, subsequently, the skilled person becoming a provider of his own services which are acquired from skill to others, and in the process again an economic activity starts. So it's a non-stop cascading effect that will be generated from this activity. Win-win situations will emerge. And therefore I congratulate the organizer for making this happen. I'm really excited by the prospects in which a new world which is emerging after the corona, which will be completely unrecognizable world, but a very dynamic world. So let me offer you my best wishes. Congratulations once again to the organizer, and thank you for inviting me for such an exciting session. I really look forward to be part of this process, and please count on me for support that I can offer. And our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has started a Skill India mission. Let us succeed in that mission by making every person a skilled person so that he can be recognized. And we must also have ability in the society to respect such skilled person, because otherwise we recognize only doctors and engineers. But can we not in future recognize such people at same level as so-called educated person is, by saying, oh, he's a person who's going on the street, he's a great skilled man, he's a fantastic plumber, he's a fantastic electrician. So that social recognition can also help add value into this entire new world that is going to emerge. Let me wish you all the best. Thank you very much.